Okay, so Zakia, yes. So this is going to be very interesting, and so we're going to go through through a series of things, including how you actually how email occurs on the internet. You will actually see email actually being transmitted in plain text. I'm going to show you that because yeah, it's in plain text. So the email is in plain text, and you will actually see how. If you can type the text, then obviously somebody can read it. And this is why I tell you that third parties are reading your email, because I'm typing it out on the open in text, and I'm actually going to demonstrate that. Can you hear me now? Well, if you broadcast on a different channel, I may hear you if I change their channel. Otherwise, no, I cannot hear you. So, and then the last thing I'm going to do is actually do something that is kind of the scary part of this, which is the hacking. I actually made my own tracking thing in here called a web beacon, and you're going to be able to test it yourself. And I'm actually going to put the web beacon on a room inside Brax that you can use for testing. It's going to be interesting because you can actually see, you know, if it's revealing IP addresses and things like that. So you can actually check to see if your own particular email client is vulnerable. So I sent from 2 different places. Okay, I'll open that later. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 emails here already from Woodchip, from Honda, from David Clark, PC Tech for Life, Daily Woodchip again, and then Braxter Original, whoever that is. Okay, so we're gonna look at that later. But right now, let me just explain a little bit about email. So let me just show you this little chart here. There's quite a bit of a delay from when I show something and from when you actually respond. Okay. Yes, join Brax.me. Join the app Brax.me if you want, you know, like resources to refer to this later on. This better be good. You're up against a guy periscoping with his blow-up doll. What about that you know, Stormy Daniels thing? Am I competing with Stormy Daniels, or is that over? Am I competing with Stormy Daniels? How about some basketball? Am I competing with basketball? Whatever we have here, we're gonna you know, break them down, because this is gonna be more interesting. This is gonna be more interesting. Now, let me show you this little chart here. First of all, let me make my picture a little smaller so I don't interfere with the shot. Okay, let me not interfere with the shot here and show you this little chart. And this chart, Stormy Rob, Stormy's over. Okay, so over. She's no competition. I have no idea. It was Jay from New York that was saying, oh, you got competition. I was like, Doc, who cares? Like, I really care about that. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the workflow. Final 4 is set. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the workflow about email, so you understand, you know, a little bit of what goes on. And the way I did this, I don't know if you can see my cursor in here. Can you see my cursor moving or not? Okay, because I don't know if, oh yeah, okay, so the cursor does show up. So up in this top half of this, we're gonna assume this is your network. She was boring. Okay, I'm gonna put this on YouTube, so I don't want to like, I don't want to. Oops, I'm like clicking on notifications here. It's messing me up. We did PR for this. Great. Okay, great. A lot of people are showing up now to learn about this. This is very, very interesting. First of all, how does email work? I'm going to get a little technical a little bit here, and some of you will get it, some of you won't. But don't worry about it if you don't get it. If you don't get it, it doesn't make any difference. Okay? You're not forced to recognize what a port number is. You don't have to remember what port 25 is, or port 587, or port 993. That's not important right now. And somebody will tell me, oh, I know more than you. What about port 143? What about port 110 and all this? And I was like, Zock you. What about port 465? I'm no zucking dummy. I understand. No, I haven't really started yet, Tim Bear. I'm no dummy. I understand all that. This is a very, very simplified chart of something that's commonly used. And the commonly used ports right now are port 587, port 993, and port 25. And those are the numbers you see on there. When you set up an email, it will actually just take your email address, and typically this is done automatically for you. But for those of you a little bit more advanced, and some of you have set up emails before, and you go to your ISP and they say, plug in the following values, and they say put in 587 in there, or 993, or 143, or 11 or 110. So you do things like that, and you will have seen some of these numbers in the past. Now, what I'm going to show you is on the top part of this, the top half of the photo. The top half of the photo are actually going to be assumed to be your local area network. This is your LAN. This is your network. This is the network where you have your email. So that could be Gmail. That could be your own office email. It could be anything that you have some internal access to. And typically, when you use this kind of setup, you're authenticated. Authenticated. So that's why on top there, I have the word authenticated. So right there, that's what I say there, authenticated. Okay? So when it's authenticated, it means you have a login and a password. So nobody can use the network without permission. Because when you send over here into an authenticated network, so this top part here is authenticated. When it's an authenticated network, what happens is you can send to each other without restriction. So if I have to send mail to somebody on the same network, there's no particular restriction to doing that. And the other thing is, in today's world, when you talk inside your own network, the communication between you and the server that handles the email is typically encrypted with something called TLS. So when somebody uses this thing called SMTP 587, that's the port number 587. When somebody refers to 587, they're actually suggesting that that is an encrypted traffic. So in theory, no one is able to listen to you talk to your server. So this portion of the transmission, assuming that's you on the left there in the blue, this portion of the transmission could be encrypted. Now the other part is when you retrieve email, that's called IMAP. Yes, TLS replaced SSL. When you retrieve email, and that retrieval is typically called IMAP, that part is also encrypted, and that's suggested by the number 993. Okay, no, it was not port 2021. The old port was 25. Back in the old days, everything was on port 25. Back in the old days, it was port 25 for SMTP, for authenticated connections, and port 110 for POP3. IMAP, not IMAX. Okay, so back the old days it was called POP3. That was a common one. Nowadays, most people use IMAP. So that's how typically an email would be sent. So, so far so good. You're saying, okay, so my communications with the server is encrypted. Now, this is very important to know because Google will tell you, hey, communications with our server is encrypted because we use 587 and 993. So therefore, your email with us is safe, and we will make sure that you are protected. So, but Google's lying to you. Google's lying to you. Okay? Because that only protects this segment. This is the only segment protected by 587 and 993. So the protocol used for sending mail, this is something that you will hear many times here, is called SMTP. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, SMTP. That's that protocol right there. Now, again, I'm just going to go through the basics here, and you don't have, if you don't understand anything I say, or it doesn't matter, it will, the point of what I'm talking about will make sense in a moment. Then the protocol for receiving email is typically IMAP. Okay, so forget what the acronym IMAP means. I hate you, Google. Okay, now what happens if you want to send an email to another domain? You want to send email to this person here who's in a different domain. So your domain is myemaildomain.com. That's your domain right there. And you want to send to somebody else at youremaildomain.com. So how does that happen? So now we're talking about this particular segment now, where one computer from your domain talks to another computer from another domain. Okay, now just understand that these two servers don't know each other. I just want to make this clear that you understand this. These two computers don't know each other, which means they cannot be authenticated. So it's an unauthenticated relay. It's what it's called. Unauthenticated. These two don't know each other, so they're not authenticated. They use something called port 25. This is the most common port, port 25. And many ISPs block this coming from your systems, and they only allow this from server to server. Okay, there's no DNS here. We're not talking about DNS. Okay, so the communication between these two servers is not authenticated, meaning if I send something to your emaildomain.com, it's not going to stop it, it's going to take it. If it doesn't take it, then you cannot send email. It's the way that email works. It doesn't need to care where it's coming from. It will take it, and that's why you get spam, because there's no real way to stop it. If they send it using SMTP, port 25, or otherwise known as just your standard SMTP. Okay, this is an unauthenticated relay. This is really the interesting part about this, which I will demonstrate to you in a second here. This segment that talks here is completely unencrypted on port 25. So if I were sitting right here listening, and I'm going to show you the actual traffic in a moment here, you can see the actual email, and I will do it because I'm going to type it in text, and which means if I can type it in text, then somebody can listen into that text and see exactly what I'm typing. So the National Zucking Agency, your ISP, and everyone else can see what's going on. It's not going to be a mystery what's going on here, okay? So we're going to actually try this out in a very, very simple way, how this portion here, this non-authenticated portion here, is accepted in plain text. And we're going to do that by connecting to my server. I have a server right here, and I am on a VPN right now. I'm on a VPN, I'm broadcasting on a VPN, and I'm connected to a special server so that I can do this demo without revealing anything. And you will be able to figure out where I'm sending this email, this server. The address of the server is not a mystery. It's actually, I will ping it for you. It's actually mail.bytes.io. So if you ping it, you'll see my IP address. There's my IP address. Remember that now, because you will see that later on. Okay, that is my IP address as I'm pinging from the server. Now this server is not located at my house. It's located at Amazon. So Jeff Bezos, holds control over this particular server. So if you're saying, well, it's at your house. No, it's not at my house. 35.163.5.12 is a public server. Okay? And it's a public server, so everyone already knows what that IP address is. It's not a secret. So that's what I'm going to use to do the communications, is that server. So I'm now going to talk to the email server. I'm going to act like this little portion here, this segment. I'm going to talk from that top machine to the bottom machine. Bezos. OM, why to your house? OM, I'm too sexy for my cat. Sending text messages just as unsafe. Text messages are unsafe, but not to the degree that email is. It's the ratio is probably 10 to 1. Email is 10 to 1 unsafe compared to texting. Texting is moderately unsafe, but it's not necessarily something that general hackers can access. So now we're gonna get a little technical because you will actually see me typing something on this little command line window. Let's see if I can make it even bigger so that you can read it. Okay, I think that's probably the max size. I probably can't make it any bigger than that, but hopefully you can read some of the text in there. Some of you on tiny little phones will need some glasses, and since you can't possibly read it all, some of you with little phones, then I will read it to you as I type it. Forget what it says on the prompt on the left. That is of no concern to us. Whatever the prompt says in there is of no concern. Just follow whatever happens after the $sign. That's good. Change the font size. That's that simple. This is about the largest font. Texting is 10 times safer than email. Yes, it's still unsafe, but it's safer than email because you have to be on SS7 to hack it. Most hacking of email requires some inside information from the phone company. This looks nice on my 75-inch 4K television. Fantastic. Pay attention, people. Your girlfriend said size don't matter? Oh, okay. Then it must not matter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is connect to my server, and this is the command I'm going to use to connect. So I'm just typing here ncmail.bytes.io, which is netcat, in case you don't know what that is in Linux. And I'm going to talk to it on port 25. Just exactly what I said before. I connect on port 25, which is the unauthenticated plain text portion of the email. Okay, so I'm going to show you this on port 25 because port 25 is unauthenticated and it's in plain text, and this is where most of the internet traffic traverses the internet, as on port 25. This is where all the spam comes from. Well, do I need to move the camera in some way to make you happy? Here, let me adjust my face here for you. There. Make you feel better? Bubbles in the way. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna hit enter here, and it's like, whoa, I connected to the server. So now it expects me to send something, and you have to actually respond here and say, hello, brax.me. You have to identify yourself. So I'm identifying myself as being from brax.me. Okay, so there it responded. The server's responding, it's talking to me. And you can read that, right? Is there any secret text in there? Does it look encrypted to you? No, it's not encrypted. You know, it's pretty open. Okay, now I'm gonna send mail, and I'm gonna say mail from, and we're gonna say hacker. Hold on, my keyboard is a little slow here. Do you want me to talk about Facebook today, or what? Social fit? Okay, so hacker at brax.me. Okay, mail from hacker.brax.me. It took it. Okay, and we're gonna say receipt. Oops, wrong spelling. It's like a very slow response here. Receipt to, and then we're going to use our test email account, which is periscope at bytz.io. Took it. It took it. Okay, now we're going to actually put the email data. Okay, look how simple this is. This is like, you know, subject. Okay, we are trying to hack you. Okay, so that's the subject, and message, hacking test for Periscope. Wrong spelling. For Periscope. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna hit a dot, hit enter, queued. Okay, so that email has now been sent. I can now quit, and I'm done. I just sent email. Okay, now just explain what's happening here. What actually happened there, my friends? What happened is you saw traffic on email that was completely plain text. Now, you saw that traffic. By the way, these accounts will not exist after the broadcast. So don't try to send the email to this after this broadcast. It's not going to work anymore. Okay, so don't try to spam it. It's not going to work. Like using Pine in 90s. Okay, Lavendi. So the text that you saw is plain text, which means that obviously there's no big secret here that anyone on the internet can listen into that conversation. And this includes your ISP. Your ISP can see exactly what I typed there. The National Zucking Agency can see what I typed there. Somebody on level 3 renting space from level 3 or level 3 itself, and any kind of third party renting resources on level 3 could also see that traffic that you just saw there. So as you can see, it's kind of dangerous, because somebody actually saw who the mail came from, who it was sent to, and what the message is. Okay, no big mystery here. You saw exactly what the message is. Now, did it work? So let's look at my email here and see what kind of messages we got. And here we are. And where the Zuck did it go? We are trying. Oh, there it is at the bottom. Okay. I'm getting so much email. We are trying to hack you. There. So that's the message. That's the message. That's the message. Proton mail is not the solution here. So there's the message I sent, and you can see it looks like a normal email to you. I know you can't see that. I have to blow it up for you, but it's exactly what we typed up earlier. Okay, so that's what we typed up on the command line. That's exactly what you saw right there when I typed it manually. So again, what is the flaw in this email format? Well, again, let me go back to the original chart. By the way, this is very hard to plan this because I don't really know what's going to happen, and I don't have a script for doing this, and we will figure out what's how much we can cover as we go along and through the night, and see if this is making sense. But see this section here, that's what we just proved to you, that this section of the transmission is completely unauthentic. I authenticated myself just for the demo, but in reality, you can see that that is a plain text conversation. Okay? Now we're getting more complicated. Why are you confused? Why is TJ confused? So this portion of the transmission from server to server, so let's say you're on Gmail and you're talking to Yahoo, that portion of the conversation, if it's going to port 25, is plain text. TJ is confused with TJ. Okay, that's funny. Really is wide open. Fault of the original designers. Well, they have a solution to that, and many servers are connecting using port 465 unauthenticated right here, which at least offers TLS on this connection, but that's not the bulk of the email traffic, and that's only being done by the big players like Google. So like Google, to Yahoo, they may use a different channel here instead of port 25, but the bulk of traffic on the internet is going port 25 still, which is unauthenticated, which is wide open. Now, the National Zucking Agency has a solution. If you're using port 465 and you're saying you're authenticated here, they have a different way of tracking that email. Gmail, Yahoo, all these companies, they take the email that you put on here to the server and they send it directly to the NSA. It's called X key score. That's the NSA program that sends that, X key score. So they actually take the contents of this and they feed it directly to the NSA servers. Okay, so no escape. So they're either going to capture you here or they're going to capture you on the open internet right here on port 25, which is the bulk of the traffic. Okay, so again, let's go back to this email here, which is what we sent on that command line. Now, let's see what exactly, there's a lot of you sent email here, and I will go look at all of this. But for the moment, if you're running Thunderbird, and I do recommend that you change your email client on your computer to use Thunderbird, and there's going to be many explanations for this. When I do another attack later on, you will see that you are better off using Thunderbird. Okay, there's no talk of Zuckbook on this. We're not involved with Zuckbook right now. This is not a Zuckbook discussion. I've talked about Zuckbook and wrote an article on my Twitter. You should read my article on Twitter about Zuckbook. Okay, so I have some serious problems with Zuckbook, as you know, over the last 2 years that I've been talking about it, including Cambridge Analytica, and that's in an email, in a Medium article I wrote today, and yesterday, and it's on my Twitter. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna go look at this email in source in its original form, and watch this, guys. There's the list of emails right there on Thunderbird. So if you're on Thunderbird, go click on the 3 bars. Oh, sorry. My face is blocking. Let me move my picture someplace else here for the moment. Hope it doesn't block. Okay, let me just check and see if I'm blocking the picture. Okay, so the 3 that you were first to expose, Zuck. Yes, Holly. So this is Thunderbird is an email client that you can use instead of Outlook or instead of Windows Mail, Mac Mail, and so on. This is a different product you can download, and it's called Thunderbird. Okay, so Thunderbird is my recommended client. It's much safer than many email clients. I'm gonna click on that. See on the top there, where you have those horizontal bars in the corner right. I'm gonna click on that, and you'll see a menu. And that menu, you're gonna click on View, and then on the bottom there, you will see Message Source. Okay, you see that? Thunderbird is by Mozilla, yes. Okay, so Message Source. Then I will click on that, and you will now see the messages that actually got transmitted over the internet. Now I'm going to expand this for you so you can read it very clearly. Okay, in large text. Then I'll show you what's actually in this message so you see exactly what's on there. Okay, so that's the message we sent on that little internet thing. And yes, the antivirus checked it out. And there's the name of the return address. And it was delivered to periscope@bytes.io. You can see that there. Okay? Now this is very interesting that you need to understand. You see this portion here? This is the danger point. What the zuck is that? That is your zucking email address. I already revealed my email address to you earlier in the broadcast, and that is my email address. And it gives you this one here that says unknown. That is your machine name. This is a Mac. My Mac is running fast. Yeah. There's your IP address. Okay, we're going to read some other people's IP addresses, so email sent to me, so you see what I'm talking about. I actually ask people to email me with a VPN, so to hide information. But I want to show you. We're going to open all these emails that have been sent to us, and we'll see what we got. Okay, so this one is using Tor via Tor router.